Studio Blue Radio is proud to present Raffa Music Show by Raffaela Madaffari.
Check the microphone. Hi everyone, welcome to the Raffa Music Show here on Studio Blue Radio. I'm Raffy, and today I have two very special guests. I have classical guitarist William Wilson and his son, lo-fi artist Blocktane. Hello guys.
Hi, Raffy. How are you? Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for being on the show. I'm great. How's it feel to be on a web radio based out of Italy?
Nice. We have Italian ancestry, so we feel right at home. Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. So then I guess we'll just jump right into it. William, what got you into the world of classical guitar?
So it's funny because when I started playing guitar, I was 9 and I had really no concept of classical guitar versus acoustic guitar or anything. I just wanted to play the guitar, and I had the good fortune of having a teacher who was a classical guitarist, and he was the one. His name is Peter Pupping. He was the one that steered me in that direction, and I loved the kind of the discipline of it, and the history of it, and so that really just resonated with my personality. So I went from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally, you know, when kids want to play the guitar, they just want to be like, they want to be a rock star. And
of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have a lot of Spanish influences in your music as William Wilson, and you've also gone by Wilson Fernandez on side projects.
That's right.
So what determines what name a piece or an album will get released under?
That's a good question. So my the place where Wilson Fernandez comes from, so my father was Woodrow Wilson and my mother Maria Teresa Fernandez, and she's from Argentina. So I have this kind of mixed ancestry, and my bringing up, there was a lot of Argentine influences, lots of soccer and good food and so forth, and music, of course. And so then as far as what name I go by, I started with William Wilson, and in the more like traditional classical stuff that I do, I continue to use that name. And then I've started using Wilson Fernandez in a way to honor my mom and to just to bring in that side of my upbringing. And I started using it just for projects where, like, I'm playing the electric guitar, doing something that wouldn't, like, if people are, so people go on your channel and they press play and they listen, and then for me with the name William Wilson, I get all these other William Wilsons that their music happens to appear on my channel, and they're like way different from what I do, and people go, "What's up with that?" So I thought, with Wilson Fernandez, I should separate them. So that's basically how I do it.
That's awesome. So your last album that was released, Calming Music for Classical Guitar,
right?
I see I see a trend of kind of like releases that you come out with where it's situational albums, whether it's calming music or sleep music, stuff like that. I've done a bunch of those, and they tend to get a wider audience because people can find them, I think, because they're looking for music where they want calming music, and so hopefully my album fits the bill. And then every couple of different albums I'll do something that is more just for me, or a little, I don't expect to have quite as wide an audience, shall we say, and I feel free. Like I did the Spanish Dances for Classical Guitar, which was a set of transcriptions, which I really had fun with. but not a lot of ears on that one. And then I did the Flamenco Lele, which was all original compositions, and I really liked that. But again, that's not, it's not as easy to find, I think, maybe. So that's why I do like you said, the situational ones, which I love to do because, I get this image, like I did an album of music for like French lullabies. And I have this image of like all these little French babies sleeping to my music, and I think, oh, that's pretty cool, So I like doing the situational stuff because I do think music is multifaceted. It has a practical function in our society where we can use it as a way of calming down, if we're having trouble sleeping or what have you. It's almost medicinal, I think, when you look at it from that perspective. So those albums, I think of it in those terms, like I'm helping someone in their life to solve a problem that they have, or to enrich their experience, whatever activity they may be doing. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, there's been countless studies on just the positive aspects of just listening to classical music in general. Right. So that's really cool. You have a lot of plays on Spotify.
It's kind of crazy. It started out, the first album that I did that got popular was the Music for Sleep album, right? And so I have this theory that like people put it on and fall asleep and then it just plays.
Right.
So, but yeah, that album's funny because it started, I almost threw it away. I was like, I had my hand on the mouse, and I was like, this, I can't release this because it had a buzz on it, like a ground hum, from the electricity, and I hadn't really been recording. I just kind of said, I'll throw something together and do some demos and maybe make some relaxing music, and then I found a plug-in, right? A digital plug-in to help get rid of the buzz. And so I did that. And I said, well, I'll submit it. And it didn't do anything for like 4 years. It just sat there. And then all of a sudden, I think it must have hit a playlist or something. Got caught in the algorithm.
Yeah.
Which is great, because then that's really opened it up for me to have more people listening, which is fun.
Absolutely. And, Spotify in general, I feel like in the past just couple of years has just grown tremendously as opposed to like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it really has. And I think the opportunities that it gives are really great. I know different musicians feel differently about Spotify and so forth, but overall, for me, it's been a real positive experience, just meeting people. And, I look online, like at my stats, who's listening to my music. And my number one city is Mexico City. And I'm thinking that's cool, that I'm able to reach geographically beyond what I would have otherwise. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you have albums like Flamenco Lele and your Musica Triste, your sad music, so that it's definitely can hit the algorithms in Central and South America. So then the first song that we're going to listen to by you is Prelude Number 7 by Chopin, which is taken from your most recent album, The Calming Music for Classical Guitar. Who would you say is your kind of favorite composer to emulate in your albums? Because, I see you go all across the board.
So I tend to love a good melody. And I tend to love kind of the romantics, real expressive. So, Chopin, like the song that we're listening to, is one that I would seek to emulate. And then I love Piazzolla, the Argentine composer, who, some of the melodies just make you want to cry. And so those are the types of composers that I try to emulate. Though I like to change it up. Sometimes recently I just wrote an homage to Bach, and I reimagined his Prelude to Cello Suite Number 1, which is a real famous piece for the guitar. And that was fun. I really I liked doing that too. So it was a little bit of a stretch. So anyways.
Well, all right, here we go. Here is Prelude number 7. And we're back. What I love about these songs that you play is, even if it just happens to come across somebody's playlist or in their algorithm, a lot of them are well-known pieces. Right. And it's funny because my husband and I, we're both fans of like classical music and jazz music. And we say how it's so hard to be a fan of classical music because you'll hear a song and how can you Google it? How do you look it up if you don't know the name? Like, what song goes da da da? Like, you can't do it. So I like how with, some of your music, it doesn't have all these bells and whistles to it. It's straight to the point. So like sometimes you'll hear these pieces and there's this like, huge introduction, or there's some kind of difference to it that it's like, I think this is that song, but not sure. Yeah. But with yours, it just plain and simple goes into it.
Yeah, thank you. So, that's a good observation, and something that I do kind of intentionally. I like to get out of the way. I mean, maybe it's my lack of skill in ornamenting things, but I like to get out of the way and let the melodies and the harmonies and the composer kind of speak for themselves, and so that's been something that I've taken into all my transcription work, is how can I really, get to the core of what this piece of music is about, and for me that's usually the melody. So
yeah, and like I have there's an Italian classical guitarist. His name is Roberto Fabbri, and I interviewed him on my website, and I listen to his music as well, and he does a lot of the same pieces as awesome. You, just because it's common in the classical guitar world,
of course.
And